This week on Worldwide Gaming, I review Destiny. We look at the top 10 stealth games. An interview at TGS 2014 on Battlefield Hardline. And a WG 101 from Alex on Smite. Hello and welcome to Worldwide Gaming. I'm your host Ryan.
I'm Lysander.
I'm Vince.
And today is my Destiny review, which I'm going to just have a little spoiler. It's a bit different than your review would have been if you did the same game.
Well, yeah, I'm a huge fan of Bungie. Everything that they've done in the past has been really good. And then they released the vanilla version of Destiny, and it's really empty. So I really, really enjoy the game, but there's not as much in it as I was hoping.
Yeah, you full got into like the whole loot grind, and are you level 30 yet?
29 and like a half. It's ridiculous. I can't get there.
All right. But before my review, we have the forecast.
The murky depths are looking cold in the upcoming horror game Soma. From the same studio that brought us Amnesia, this game is looking to be one of the scariest games of this year. We don't really want to have to change our pants. This game looks good enough to make us consider it, so we've given it a 2. Dear Esther developers have announced their new game, Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, exclusive to the PS4. This game is set for release in 2015. We weren't really fans of Dear Esther, but this does look fairly interesting. We give it a 1. Upcoming hack-and-slash action game, Let It Die, is looking rather gory. From the producer of Lollipop Chainsaw, it's probably safe to assume this game will be very weird. We give it a 0.
I have no idea what's about to happen.
There is always a few games throughout the gaming year that become the focus of gamers' attention. None more have become victim of the hype machine this year than Destiny. With great hype comes great expectations, and although I don't think Destiny meets all those expectations, Bungie has still laid out an impressive foundation to build their 10-year plan for the game on. It is a far future. Humans, after discovering a celestial body known as the Traveler, colonize multiple planets in a galaxy as the population triples, only for the catastrophic collapse to happen, leaving Earth once again as a sole sanctuary for humans. That is until hostile alien race would threaten our last colonies. The game starts as a small robot called a ghost being hunted. The ghost finds your lifeless body and resurrects you, marking you as the guardian of the lost cities. From here, you'll complete missions on 4 different planets. However, there's no rigid path to complete them. This makes the story hard to follow along with, as you could finish a mission intended to be completed last on the planet earlier than expected. It also doesn't help that a lot of the story elements and general lore of the world aren't fully explained to you, with Bungie leaving it up to you to find information in external places like Bungie.net. Characters will come and go, seemingly at random, and you'll often find yourself following the objective mark on your HUD blindly with no purpose. When creating a character, you can choose between one of 3 classes. Each class has their own level grid that you progress through by gaining experience, and allows you to unlock different powers and abilities. The classes feel pretty much the same, as even though they do have different abilities, equipping the different weapons gives you the most varied gameplay. Having elements of an MMO, you'll be collecting loot, comparing it to what loot you already have equipped, and either keeping it or dismantling it for Glimmer, one of the many currencies used in the game, and materials. Loot doesn't drop as often as you would expect in a loot-focused game, and in my experience most of what does drop isn't nearly as good as what you have equipped. This makes the later parts of the game really feel like a grind, as especially after the main story is completed, the game becomes purely driven by what you have equipped. Not explaining things fully is kind of a theme in Destiny. Your character will gain multiple currencies, points, and items throughout the game, which you'll need to figure out how to use. I usually had to play Destiny with a laptop next to me to figure out the differences between Glimmer, Vanguard marks, Vanguard reputation points, Crucible marks, Crucible reputation points, and how to actually use them. You'll also be unlocking more and more things to do as you level up, which will only add to the massive amount of required knowledge you will need.
I don't even have time to explain why I don't have time to explain.
Destiny is a stunning game though. Although you'll see many of the environments multiple times throughout your time replaying missions, or even just going through the story, they definitely will have you in awe of how beautiful they look. The shooting feels as tight and responsive as any other game in the market too, with each weapon packing enough weight to make mowing down hordes of enemies satisfying, even if the loot they drop, or the reason you're fighting them in the first place, isn't. Where the game really shines is when you're in a party of friends, or your fire team. Fire teams can complete missions together, including story missions, patrol missions, or the fantastic strike missions. Strike missions are very tough and long side missions that contain at least one high-level boss character you need to defeat to complete your mission. The boss characters can take and dish out a lot of damage, and make you change up your playstyle or risk being obliterated. These missions were the definite high point of the game for me, as the difficulty and teamwork needed for them make up for the less exciting story missions. The Crucible, where you can play competitive matches online against other players, is quite underwhelming given the legacy of multiplayers in games made by Bungie. No matter what level you are, Bungie have attempted to create a level playing field by making the damage of every weapon the same. In theory, this should work, however some of the rarer gear you can find, which is only available at higher levels, will have special properties attached, like faster reloads or bullets that randomly do extra damage, that won't be taken away. The advantages people with better loot have make it frustrating, and really only had me avoiding the mode until I had some loot that could compete. Although I had some criticisms of the game, Bungie has already started addressing some of the issues in recent patches. There is every chance in the world that it can become the epic game that it was promised in the future, but as it is right now, it just feels a little lacking.
Hey guys, enjoying the show? If you want to check out what the WG crew are up to, go to our Facebook page. Also, our YouTube page has previous episodes and also extended clips of other segments. And lastly, you can check us up on iTunes to search WGcast.